Hello and welcome to another episode of Put Me in Coach. On episode 30, we are pretty much like 70% away of enough of the first half of the MLB season. And this is game 3 of the Milwaukee Brewers versus the Diamondbacks. The lineup of today, Adrian Del Castro playing DH, and James McCain playing catcher, and then Jorge Barosa also played right field and hit for Corbin Carroll later on and stuff. And the other people also played as well. In the seventh inning, Jorge Barosa played right field. We already know that, and stuff. And then Tim Tawa had to play third base and stuff. And then bottom of the eighth, Tim Tawa actually went to second base. Instead, Adrian Del Casio won play to catcher, and stuff. And then Jose Fernandez came in to play third base. So those are the other people played in as well. I would definitely say the batting was a lot better than the first game and stuff. Not the best what we did yesterday game and stuff, but it's what it is. I thinking the offense of the Brewers went more into this game and stuff. That's just my opinion on that of what I've seen from the game. Because I just thinking the Brewers offense just went off and our pitching did not do so well, and our offense was just not getting anywhere. There was things here and there and stuff, but there was not a whole lot. Pitching wise enough, it was rough for us. Michael Sorka starting today. He only went for 4 innings, gave up 10 hits, struck out 2, walked 2, and gave up 8 runs. So this is pretty much the worst what we saw from Ahsoka today and stuff. I just thinking the Brewers just went out and started hitting off of him and stuff, and they also hit on our bullpen as well. The Brewers pitcher, Brandon Woodruff, he eventually enough got out the inning later on and stuff. He only went 2 innings, gave up 1 hit, struck out 2, walked once, and gave no runs at the time and stuff. So I believe enough he got injured and stuff, and that's why he got out of the game a lot early and stuff. And I just didn't do the bullpen for the Brewers and stuff. So that's that. Yeah, it's very strange enough to see Brandon Woodruff at this time and stuff. He's been on this team for so long and stuff. Very great pitcher and stuff at the time of his prime and stuff. I don't know. The age is just getting into him and stuff. Injuries are going to have some rough starts for him, and he's been injured lately at the time and stuff, and then fortunately it's just he just keep getting injured and stuff. And again, I just don't know, his body is just working very well and stuff, and also maybe the age is getting up there and stuff. Honestly enough, I don't know how old Brandon Woodruff and stuff, but he's been playing for a very, very long time. I would say a good 10 years of pitching, maybe around 8 or 9, who knows, and stuff. But it was just interesting enough having him coming back, obviously being healthy, but today it's just he got injured again and stuff, and those things are just gonna happen. The Diamondbacks bullpen, Philip Abner, first time seeing him coming in the game and stuff. Jonathan Liskia, Brandon Fott, and then James McCain. Obviously not, because that just shows we kind of gave up at the end and stuff. There was more hits, but I didn't record of them and stuff. So Again, I just thinking the offense of the Brewers just went big and they just hit pretty much everybody. Everybody gave up a hit and stuff. So, what are you gonna do? I don't know and stuff. I just thinking the Brewers just got better on us today and stuff. Scoring and stuff, I have a whole lot. So I'm going to delete a couple things here and there and stuff. Alright, so the ones that I have right now and stuff, fortunately enough, there's going to be more Brewers hits than the Diamondbacks and stuff. But I didn't talk about all scoring and stuff. Just limit it down of what I want to talk about and stuff. But fortunately enough, talking about William Contreras, he hit a 2 home run to make it 5-0, bottom of the third and stuff. William Contreras did really good in this game and stuff. Got a lot of hits. He's pretty much the one, got a lot of runs for the Brewers so they can win big and stuff. And, there's a lot of him. Vargas, fortunately enough, got his 26 hitting streak, and he is tied for Paul Goldschmidt of Diamondbacks history of hitting streak. He is in the category again. He just keeps going and stuff, keep getting base hits here and there and stuff. He went big as well. He got more hits and stuff. Love to see that and stuff. So this just shows enough of is he just, this the streak is just done tied with Goldy, or if he wants to go big, because the next person is in that category enough of the most hitting streak for the Diamondbacks is Luis Gonzalez, and Luis Gonzalez has 30 and stuff, and he just needs to get 4 more to top on that and stuff. He needs 1 to, be over Goldy and stuff, but 4 just to tied with Luis Gonzalez and stuff. I hope he can get to it and stuff. I hope and stuff. I'm rooting for him every single time he comes to the plate, get a base hit and stuff. He's pretty much the hottest hitter in the lineup for the Diamondbacks and stuff, and he just shows up and he's ready to play. So that's that. Lourdes Guerrero Jr. hit a RBI single to make it 1-6, top of the fourth. Unfortunately enough, that is the only run the Diamondbacks only got. William Contreras hit a RBI single to make it 8-1, bottom of the fourth. Tyler Black made two RBI double to make it 11-1, bottom of the sixth. And then Sal Frelick hit a solo home run to make it 12-1, bottom of the seventh. And the final score is 1-13, and our record is 16-14. And it was going to be 14-1, but fortunately enough, there was a right call. The called it safe at home, but fortunately enough, Diamondbacks got that out at home, so they didn't get another score at that time. So, progress. Obviously enough, yeah, we lost a series over the Brewers and South. This is going to be our third loss in the series and stuff, so fortunately enough, that's not good. Especially enough of the Brewers are now tied with us, but they're also in last place in their division and stuff, so things are things and stuff. We just need to get better. I just thinking Brewers just had a better day and they came out and start hitting, and so we just got to do the same thing and stuff. But we only did that in one game. That was big, but we want to do more and stuff. And we just got to if we're gonna win games like these teams and stuff, we need to and stuff, and we cannot show the opponent team enough of we're weak at this point and stuff, and we don't want to show that. We don't want to show we are weak. We want to be strong as they are and stuff. I understand enough the Brewers are a very good team as well with great talent and great baseball players on that team and stuff, and they just hit off of us very well and taken, and our pitcher just didn't do so well and stuff. But we got to do the same thing and stuff and compete and in some ways and stuff. And pitching, I understand. I'll give a pass for them today and stuff. They did horrible and stuff. Sorka just didn't play the game he wanted and got the worst of him and stuff. Those are things that are just gonna happen and stuff. So hopefully enough, he will learn his lesson and get back into it and stuff. Overall, the bullpen, they've been doing great. It's just they just had a bad day and stuff, and those things are just going to happen and stuff. But hopefully enough, we don't make that happen a lot. So for us, we need just we lost this series. Let's learn from this mistake and stuff, and let's get back into it and stuff. And that's pretty much of that. Next series, enough of we're playing the Cubs, and fortunately enough, the Cubs are here and there and stuff. They're a really great team with great players and stuff. I'm a big Cubs fan because I like Chris Bryant back then when they won the World Series in 2016 and stuff. I have a ping pong coach, loves the Cubs as well. That's why he got me into the Cubs. But if you're against the Diamondbacks, well, my Diamondbacks won. I want the Diamondbacks to beat their team as well. So that is that and stuff. So that's pretty much of that. We just need to get back into these games and stuff because we just lost like pretty much 2 series besides of splitting with the Padres in Mexico and stuff. We can't lose against these bad teams and stuff. I'm not saying enough of the White Sox or the Brewers are bad team and stuff. Some ways enough, White Sox are a bad team at this time because they have a worse record than us and stuff. And the Brewers are pretty bad at this time and stuff, but just depends enough who gets on top and who has great game and so we can't go back and forth enough of just lose a game, win a game, lose a game, and stuff. We really don't want to do that in some ways and stuff. We want to win the most games we can and stuff. So hopefully enough, they get a little fired up just to play the Cubs and stuff, and let's just win some games and stuff. I understand enough the Cubs are a really good team, and let's show them we're a good team as well. So that's only we had a positive way for the Diamondbacks enough for a bad loss today and stuff. So just showing enough of let's don't lose this way anymore and getting a lot of runs to our opponent teams and stuff. So go big and stuff and show what we are and at this time and stuff. So that's basically all that. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Have a nice day and thank you for watching.